I didn't prepare this in advance. God, I'm an awful human being. Do you remember when I once started my so-called segment, Learn from My Mistakes? I made a very stupid mistake. I started this segment with the most interesting story. Who does that? Someone who really believes in the fact that he's never going to do another video in the segment. Today we're going to learn from my mistakes with public transport. Just today I missed 3 buses. I've been on planes a lot, but I've only traveled by plane on my own once. That was when I went to Glasgow and I had to transfer flights in London. I had 5 hours between flights, and that's a lot, especially when you're on your own and you have nothing to occupy yourself with. By the way, I love airports. I went through check-in, passport control, security check. I see that on the board that my flight is scheduled, but there's no terminal or gate where it's leaving from on the board yet. Okay, well, I still have a lot of time. I went to the store to buy a bottle of water, chewing gum, and I got free newspaper, and I forgot about the time. Next time I looked on the screen, there was a flight to Glasgow, boarding. I panicked a little bit inside and I grabbed all my stuff and started running. There was a huge airport. No, it wasn't the biggest, it was London Stansted, so it's not that huge. I didn't have actual luggage, I just had my hand luggage, so that was quite a big suitcase for hand luggage. So running towards that place, and when I come there, I noticed that it is closed. There's nobody there. Oh my god, no. The plane left. Brilliant. You can't imagine what was going on inside of me. In my mind, I missed a plane to Glasgow where my friend was waiting for me, and I was alone in London, but not even in London, but like kilometers away. It was around 9 p.m. and the last planes were leaving from London Stansted. I was literally so scared. It was sort of like I was dreaming, but I wasn't, because I usually have that sort of dreams. So I went to a flight attendant, whatever, that was checking other people for another destination. I asked her, do you know where the plane for Glasgow is leaving from? And she said, oh, that's on the other wing, because I misread the number. I'm here, a little spot here. This is the airport, like this and that, and my plane is leaving from here. And on the screen it says final call with red. It's written in red. This flight attendant tells me that this is where EasyJet is leaving from and that my flight is Ryanair and it's on the other side. And she looks at me with the most terrible, horrifying look and says,
I'm afraid you might not make it.
And at that moment, everything crashed inside of me. I was thinking about how my friend is going to be disappointed in me, how my parents will never trust me again, how I will probably sleep on the airport, or where am I going to spend the whole week? Should I buy a new plane ticket the next morning and leave? Or should I rather go to London and spend money on hotel? I started running because I still had some hope, I guess. I was fighting for my life and I was dragging my probably 15 kilo suitcase behind me upstairs. But now note this, those were not normal stairs, those escalators leading down, and I was running upwards, dragging my suitcase, my everything. Let's not forget that I can't breathe when I start running. I get out of breath, I start hallucinating. It's just bad when I start doing exercise. And I was doing it. I spit out the chewing gum. I'm sorry to whoever stepped on it. I dropped my newspaper on purpose. There was a German couple, I think, who said, hey, you dropped something. And I was like, I don't care, I'm missing a plane. They literally screamed. And I started pouring water on me because I was so hot and I thought I'm going to literally die. I came through another control and the guy just let me through. I couldn't run anymore. The final call was going for so long. I was certain that the plane has already left. I started walking because I couldn't run anymore, and I came to the desk in front of my plane that was still opened, and I leaned on the desk and there was an Indian guy, I think, and I asked him, did I make it? Did I catch it? I never so easily spoke to anyone who I didn't know, like back then, and he was just like, yes, please give me your passport, blah blah blah, and your ticket. I just gave him everything that I had, and he let me on the plane. Everybody was there already. I sat on my chair. I couldn't breathe. I was probably red in my face. I was still pouring water on me. There was 2 Scottish women sitting next to me. I couldn't breathe. When I was sitting, I still thought that I might die because my heart was running so fast. And I took the bag for trash in my hands because I was quite certain that I'm probably going to throw up. We flew for about half an hour or a bit more, an hour, I don't know. And just when we landed, I finally caught my breath and everything. And it was the most horrible experience ever. And when I was getting back, me and my friend went back together. We again almost missed the plane. I mean, who does that? Who always misses the plane twice in the same week? Another story of catching public transport is catching a train. When that happened, I was in Hamburg, that's in Germany. I went to take McDonald's so I could eat on the way to Denmark. This guy in McDonald's took the lifetime to give me my food. I swear to God, he was folding napkins. I had 3 minutes, and he was still didn't give me the receipt. I was like, can I pay, can I pay, can I pay? Then we paid. There was 1 minute till the train should have left. This is not Slovenia, because in Slovenia, ignore the timeline, please. No, this is Germany. Germany and trains. Which is great, it's brilliant. Mwah. Thank you, Germany, it's great. But in that moment it wasn't so convenient because in Germany trains leave exactly as they are planned to leave. It is the matter of seconds. There was a huge train station again. I have short vision, I can't see. I didn't know what train was my train, I just guessed. But this might be it, this might be it. We didn't have time to check if we are on the right platform. We just entered the train. I jumped on the train. It sort of pulled my friend inside the train. It was almost like in a movie. And just as she entered, the door closed and the train started moving. I was like, oh my god, we caught it. And the next second I was like, oh my god, is this the right train? Probably it was because the time was right? People! Is this train going to... I don't know what the place was. It was a little town in northern Germany. They said, yeah. Thank God, thank God. Dio mio, grazie. When we switched trains in that little town to go to Copenhagen, we didn't reserve our seats, and we should because the train was full, apparently. Or at least it was the cabin we were in was full. So we sat on the floor. In the middle of our journey, they said something in Danish, and then they said something in German, and then they said something in English. I should have understand at least 2 of these languages, but I didn't catch what they were saying. People started leaving the train, most of those who were sitting on the floor, and I was like, great, they are throwing us out. And when I came out, it was not outside, it was inside, it was very tiny. I started going on the stairs, and the next thing I know, I'm in the middle of the sea, on a boat, on a ferry. Wait a minute, the train boarded the ferry. How was I not informed of that little detail? I was really happy because they didn't throw us out, and when we boarded the train again, we sat in the first class. They throw us out of the first class, but for a moment we sat in the first class. I could go on and on for hours and days, and I don't want to bore you. Those are just a few stories that will probably always remain in my mind, especially the first one. I wish you safe travel. Bye.